name is Amartei, and this is my Spotlight. So I'm an engineer, and I spend my time finding ways to make the lives of my brothers and humanity at large easier by inventing or improving existing products for transportation and other fields. I'm a mechanical engineer and I am a creative person, so I like to think of creative ways to make the lives of my brothers and humanity at large easier. Okay, I feel mechanical engineering and arts are very intertwined. For example, ways of producing art. You can use an engineering method to create an art piece. For example, by introducing elements used in engineering products in your machines. For example, introducing washers and nuts and basic everyday materials, and then putting them on an art piece. So sort of art that any engineer or any technical person can relate to. Yes. So the technical background is is a bit more rigid, the engineering practice. So bringing that to a very creative space, a very more artistic or more something that has no rules, no set of rules. It can be a challenge. As in, based on the decisions you need to take, you can make something look nice, right? You can make something look beautiful or very creative, but structurally it won't be sound. So I have to think of that in whatever I'm building. So that influences my choice of materials. So I try as best as possible to combine both and not take away from, let's say, the structural integrity of what I'm doing. So I could use materials such as like carbon fiber, right? That would help me produce extravagant and designs that involve a lot of material, but at the same time I'll be doing good in terms of weight and efficiency in the entire vehicle or whatever I'm building. So it helps me to sort of push further in my standard of design to combine both these factors in creating a product. Yeah. My most challenging project, I'll say it's the helicopter project, because the room that I built it in, right, it was literally you see these tiles, so 3x4, that was the size of the room, right? So I had to build in parts, right? I build a part, I make sure it's good, and then I have to dismantle it and then make room for another part to be built. Otherwise, if I decide to build a whole aircraft in that room, it's not going to be possible. So that was a big challenge. Also, the main material that I used, there was a challenge in, ideally aircrafts are supposed to be made of lighter materials, right, and not steel, right? But it was a prototype that I was making, right? So I don't have to make it top notch to the standard, right? It's an idea that I'm trying to express. It's not the actual product that I'm building. So I had to use steel, right? And that's made me, I was able to run some tests on what I built, but for an activity like flying to occur, it will not be possible based on the type of prototyping method I was using, because I was using steel, and that will make it harder for it to take off. So that was another challenge I faced. But aside from that, I was able to test other things like the internal workings of the machine and some other decisions I made on the product. So that was a challenging one. The Afrochella project was also very challenging because we had a very, very, very pressing time. Like there was a time constraint on the project. So we had about a week to build a spacecraft, and to make it rotate such that a human being can stand in it and take fancy pictures. And one of our there was an issue with one of our someone we were working with, basically. So time was not even half, or more than that. We had no time. It took a lot of time, basically. So we eventually had to sleep on the park, like on the grass. Yeah, because we were working throughout the night. So, and metal had entered my eye. Yeah, so one of my eyes wasn't functioning too well. Because we flipped the whole thing right upside down because we wanted to work on the base of it, and there was some, there's this like dust particles here and there, iron filings. So when we're flipping it around, I wasn't wearing safety goggles, so my bad. Yeah, it was in the night and I wasn't really working, so that's my excuse. Who inspired me
to start building stuff?
Tony Stark. Yeah. Tony Stark, Rick and Morty. Rick is the one who drinks a lot. Yeah. Rick inspired me. Bob the Builder, like from a very young age, I saw him building things and fixing everything, and it was really gangster. Yeah. Who else inspires me? Elon Musk's lifestyle is inspiring. Not his lifestyle, his career path is inspiring. Well, I've been a very creative person since I was young. Like my environment inspired me. That's the answer. Because I found myself in places like abandoned houses where there's a lot of rubbish, right? But in that rubbish, I saw things like products. I saw like a broken bottle lying on the floor, abandoned, right? That's, if I take that's like a product. So I'll think of like, how did this come into being? Through what process was this made? And how is it in the room I am in right now? So that involved some manufacturing process. It's made of sand and heated and created into a bottle. And then probably an entrepreneur sees that, decides to make an alcohol producing company, and then he brands it, and then it's shipped all the way to Africa, and then somebody who drinks buys it, and then okay, let's say it's not an alcoholic drink or whatever, somebody who drinks buys it, and then so I start to think of how the bottle got to this room at this point, and I'll say it's through creativity and that's entrepreneurial spirit. That something I create can be all the way in another part of the world. So that all of that, I'll say that pushed me to start making things. And there were tools in my environment. There were tools at home, right? So I would sneak into my dad's, like his toolbox, and then I would just see so many tools. I don't know what some of them do. I know how some work. I'll just try and do something. Maybe they invite a carpenter to fix something, so I would watch how he fixes it and what tool he uses, and try and do the same thing, or try and help him or something, just to know. I was a very hands-on, energetic, young boy, small boy, so I did worry, so everywhere. So yeah. My most recent project, I started one yesterday evening. So I would have said the surfboard, but I started making a mirror for my sister, my lovely sister. So like as a gift to her. So that was it. But I'll say it's a surfboard, even though it's not my most recent project. So for that, I was thinking of how limited my movement was, because anywhere I want to go, I had a bicycle, but where I was when the idea came, I didn't have access to a bicycle, so I was always driving, right? And that wasn't efficient at all, because anytime I have to move, it means I have to spend money directly, because I'm buying fuel. Because I'm buying a lot of fuel. Yes, even though my hoverboard, my surfboard, I don't have a name for it, so I'll just call it either hoverboard, surfboard, or metallic shoes, or moving shoes. Yes. So as I was saying, so I didn't want to spend so much money each time I'm moving, right? So I came up with the idea of making a motorized skateboard. Like I can be surfing through town, and then so if I'm going to transfer Momo or something, then I just wear the shoes and go. But the shoes involve me not walking, right? But rather surfing, because walking is stress, but surfing you're just standing and then you're just moving. So that was the idea that I had. So I sketched it. I made a rough sketch. I was at Leslie's place, and then I was just telling him about the ideas I have, because Leslie also builds things. Leslie's my friend, one of my closest friends. He also builds things. I was like, yo, if you get some shoe way each time you won't move, you go if you wear the shoe, right, and then surf around. So like, especially when I'm not transporting anything, I don't have any cargo. It's just, for example, I'm going to see someone. No, I'm going somewhere, and I don't need cargo. Basically, I can just wear the shoes and then go, right? Yeah, I was like, yeah. So we sketched something up. So that very night, like I started ideating, same design. So by that midnight or so, I had something sketched up, and then that was like the mechanism by which to work. So what we drew was so you're supposed to be standing on like a surfboard. You're supposed to be standing on it and then control the movement, right? And then let it be powered. So you have movements, and then you control the movement, and then you get to your destination. So this phase of the interview is going to be very nerdy, but I'll try as much as possible to bring it down, to explain further. Yeah. So we drew a mechanism. We drew the steering mechanism, right? So you stand on it like a surfboard, like any surfboard, right? There's a little bar where you can sort of like slides, so you can slip your feet in them, and then you're wearing a shoe or wearing a surfboard. So anchored a bit onto the vehicle. But in case of an emergency or something, you can easily slip your feet out. So we designed that, and then we designed a steering mechanism so that you can use your posture, right, your body posture or your body's inclination to surf, to direct your motion, right? So we sketched up the principle on which it will work, right? And it was sort of attaching your foot to the wheels, basically. So if I want to turn left, I just incline myself to the left a bit, just lean backwards a bit, and then it stays left. So literally, you're just surfing through town, and that was how the idea came. So okay. So it's been about 3 months since I started, and so the first test was about 2 months ago. That was when the first test was. We had a little some issues to fix. We had to upgrade our tires. I say we because I involved many people in the projects, right? Indirectly, directly, like I can just call you and then start talking to you about the mechanism. Like, the clearance between the base of the vehicle and the road is too much, so I should get better tires. Or people bring their critique, right? There are a lot of people at home who bring their ideas. My most dangerous project, I would say, is the flamethrower, right? Because it involved a can of fuel or a flammable liquid, right next to a fire, like live fire. So, and it's sort of, I won't say it's a weapon, but it has the potential to cause harm. So I would say it was the most dangerous project. Like, my gloves caught on fire while I was using it one time, because I didn't realize that the fuel was leaking into the glove, right? So I shot it, or I ignited it, and then my gloves were on fire. So that's danger caused to me. There's also danger caused to other people who are in the line of sight of the flamethrower. So I would characterize that whole project as most dangerous project. There have been catapults built, there have been guns built, toy guns built, but I would say is the gun. There's the flamethrower. I'll give it to the flamethrower. My first ever project. Or
yeah, your first ever project.
Okay. I'll answer the question. I'll say what I built first. Or the earliest thing I can remember that I built. It was a chair. There was this abandoned house near my house, so I used to go there for wooden pieces and things. So that's where I got the material for the chair from. And there was a reason, but I can't remember. I was probably 7 or 6 when I built it. So when I started, it's not too accurate, but I was young when I built it. So I built the chair, and then the next thing I did was to build a signboard to advertise that chair. Like, I wanted to mass produce the chair that I had built. So I put a signboard in front of my gates that build chairs, build beds, build sofas, build everything you can imagine. At 7, because I had built a chair. So that's my first project I ever built. I also built some PVC guns, right? PVC plastic guns, toys. Yeah. And I used to sell them at school, and then get some like primary school. I can hook you up and give you a plastic toy gun. So yeah, when you're walking around, you're safe in the school compound. So they were used as toys. They used to shoot paper and pencils and little objects. Yes. My biggest project was, I would say, the Afrochella, the UFO that we built. So it was a collaboration between myself and another creative, Shim. So it involved a UFO, right? The whole festival theme was futurism, like advanced, like into the future alien things. So as part of the festival, there was a UFO on the site, the festival grounds, and participants had the option to come into that UFO and then push a button, and then the UFO will begin to spin, to rotate, because that's what UFOs do. Like when we are traveling with UFOs, there always has to be like some spin to guide your trajectory. So it also served as like those selfie sticks that go around, right? Yeah, so you just stand in the UFO, and then it was beautifully decorated, and then you go around. Yeah, so many people got nice pictures on that UFO. So it involved a bearing, a giant bearing, right? So we had to fabricate the bearing, and then build the structure, and then bolt the bearing onto bolt the UFO onto the bearing. We put the UFO on top of a giant bearing that we had to fabricate, and then there was a pulley system attached to a motor, and then a motor attached to somewhere on the interior of the UFO, such that if you are to hop on the UFO, right, you push a button and then it starts rotating, right, to give the semblance of when you're in space. Like when we're in space, that's what we do. The UFOs rotate. So to give that effects on, like, for humans and people on Earth, the human being goes onto the UFO and then presses a button and then rotates and then presses a red button and then it stops. He walks out. The next person uses it. So many people used it, and they use it for taking pictures because it was like that selfie stick that goes round and it gets a 360 shot of you. So that I would say is my biggest project. Yeah, all my art pieces are mirrors, but the most recent one was one that I made for my sister as a gift to my sister. So it has faith, hope, and love written all around. It's a very cute mirror as a gift to her. Yeah, that's my most recent art piece. Okay, so my brand, the main product that my brand produces is mirrors. We deal in mirrors, reflective glass mirror, right? And the different shapes and sizes and styles and decorations that mirrors come as. So if you want a beautiful, decorative, artistic piece, a mirror piece in your living room or whatever, we got you, basically. So our mirrors are very customizable. Like, it's a personal experience we have with the person who wants the mirror. So it will not only reflect your reflection, but it will reflect you yourself. So my latest collection is, well, I don't have a name for it yet because it's still in the pipeline, but it involves a very artistic, advanced design. So some of the mirrors within that collection are touchscreen, right? It's not even touchscreen. When you walk like near the mirror, when you're near enough to the mirror starts to move. Yeah, like to acknowledge your presence. So it's supposed to be like a personal buddy, right? So it says hi to you when you get close to it. Yeah, so that's just a little about my most recent collection. So to anybody who wants to follow my path of building things and building just everything and whatever you want to build, basically, I would say it's a very creative path. It's fun, it's exciting, it involves a lot of work. Already, if you are prototyping or if you are building structures, that involves steel, not all the time, but the most abundant accessible material to build with is steel, and steel is heavy, so you need some strength for that. Yeah, it's interesting. If you love it, you should do it because you get excitement from the project. Like when I'm around the neighborhood riding my surfboard, there's this thrill, this energy it gives me, and that's what I live for, basically. So I would say that all the best and get help from everyone, because everybody has this 1% they can drop onto your 100% that makes it 100. So yeah, share your projects, share your work, get feedback. Don't worry too much about perfection. It's just about communicating your idea, right? Just give the person a rough sketch in his head, whoever you're communicating to. So I would say all the best and go for it.